Welcome back everyone. Hi, if you're new, my name is Tori, and today I'm just going to share a quick update about how Tome Topple I was going to say how it went, but it's still going. So I'm going to share with you the book that I finished during the readathon and also the book that I DNF. And because I did DNF a tome, I do want to start another one, and I don't plan on finishing the new tome before the readathon is over because that's not a lot of time at all, but I do at least want to get it going, get the momentum started with this book. And I'm actually very excited to pick this up because this is a book that has been on my shelf for a very, very long time, at least since like 2014. And I have been saying for years that I am finally going to read this book. And then every single time I just keep pushing it off and telling myself I'll read it eventually. So this weekend is eventually. I have 3 books I want to talk about, and let's get into the video. So let's start with the DNF first and end on a positive note. So the book that I DNF'd was The Book of Accidents by Chuck Wendig. And so this is interesting because it's not even that I thought the book was bad. It's just I'm not interested in it. It's not really aligning with what I want to read at this moment in time. So I got to page 181 and was just like, I don't think I can keep going on with this book for another 400 pages. That doesn't even seem like a good time for me. So I just ended up having to close the book and just mark it as DNF. The best way I can describe my reading experience with this book is like, when you have like a TV show or a movie on in the background just kind of for background sake, and you're not really watching it, but every so often something happening on the screen will catch your attention and you find yourself watching it for like 3 minutes, like, oh, that's really interesting. But then once you look away, you don't care anymore. That is exactly how I felt while reading those 180 pages of The Book of Accidents. It's like, it's good, but it's not working for me for some reason. But in this, we're following this family of 3. They move into the father's childhood home where he was severely abused by his father. So they move back into this house, and pretty immediately the father starts just seeing things become really creepy. And the mother, Maddie, she is an artist, and she's working on her projects, and she just kind of starts spacing out while she's creating these different art pieces. And then we have their son Oliver, who is a pretty like extreme empath. He just has this heightened sense of awareness of like what everybody is feeling, and it affects him pretty deeply actually. Like he can't even really watch the news because just of all the destruction and things happening in the world. It's just a lot for him, people's emotions, and just if everything is kind of heightened at once, it really gets to him. And so we're kind of just following the family through these events that are slowly starting to become a little more creepy as the book goes on. And then also we get this character Jake, who Oliver befriends. And Jake, I'm just starting to get to the point where I'm learning a little bit more about Jake, not too much, but where I left off, Jake is definitely kind of that like sinister figure and that presence in the family's life. So that's where I left off at, and I don't really want to know what happens next. So I ended up just putting the book down. But I'm sure if you're already a fan of Chuck Wendig, you might really enjoy this. If you're looking for a good horror novel to close out the Halloween season, you might enjoy picking this up, or a good winter read to curl up with. It is interesting. It just is not working for me right now, so I am going to put it down. Will I go back to it? Maybe on a different format. I could see myself picking this up on audiobook in the future when it becomes available for me, but at this moment in time, I don't see myself going back to this anytime soon. And then you guys, the next book I want to get into, the love of my reading life at the moment, is Jade War by Fonda Lee, which is book 2 in the Greenbone saga. This was so good. This was so good. Like, I don't really know what to say. This was just everything that I wanted from this story and more. I love these characters so much. Even their enemies, like, they are so well fleshed out and developed and just have so much depth. These are seriously some of the best characters, I don't know, that I can recall in recent memory. Like, they're so good. And just the way that things kind of build up in this book and we get these like tense moments, you really start fearing for these characters. Like, I was getting to a point where I was like afraid for them to leave the house at a certain point. I mean, it is just, this is phenomenal. If this is even possible, I love this more than Jade City. Like, Jade City was just a really great establishment of the characters and the world and the problem and everything, the magic system. But Jade War is it's a lot slower in my opinion. And Fonda Lee just really takes her time like developing almost every single aspect of these characters' lives and the two clans, and just it's amazing. So if you guys are just unfamiliar with the Greenbone Saga and like, what is she rambling about? So the Greenbone Saga is this Asian inspired fantasy series, and essentially there are two major clans in this island nation called Kakan, in the city known as Janloon. So our main characters that we're following in Jade City and Jade War are members of the Call family. And so the Call family, they lead the No Peak clan. And then we also have the Mountain clan. They're basically they're enemies, and we don't actually get the book from the perspective of people in the Mountain clan, but we always see like the effect that the Mountain clan has on No Peak, and just how their business ventures and the things that they're doing to expand their business and their influence, we see throughout the books how that influences No Peak and just like how they retaliate. But it's so tense between the two of them, and just the family dynamic with the Call family, it's amazing. It is so amazing. But the foundation of the story is that we have this resource, Jade, that only green bones can wear and use to enhance their like different abilities. And you're only considered a green bone if you go through, you know, this really rigorous training at these two different academies. So that's really what Jade City establishes. We're just really getting this kind of sweeping picture of the family, the world, and just the tension between the two clans. But Jade War just kind of really ups the ante in a lot of ways, and we're actually seeing how the rest of the world views Kakan and their use of Jade, and how they're trying to use Jade for their own purposes. And throughout Jade War, we're seeing how No Peak and the Mountain clan are trying to expand their influence internationally and change with the times, or if even changing with the times is the best way to go. And this is fantastic. It's so good. So I loved it so much. This is one of my, if not my favorite book that I have read in 2021. This is just truly incredible, and I cannot wait for Jade Legacy to release at the end of the year. I will be waiting. I have an arc of it, but I'm holding off. Finally, the book that I plan on picking up this weekend in place of the tome that I DNF'd is The Name of the Wind by Patrick Rothfuss. This is one that I have just been saying for years that I am finally gonna pick up and read, and I just keep putting it off, putting it down, saying I'll get to it later. We have reached later. I am finally picking up The Name of the Wind. I know this is just such a beloved epic fantasy story, so I'm excited to experience it for my own for the first time. All I really know is that we're following this main character, Quoth, through his life essentially. It sounds like he did attend a university, but he was expelled from the university, and it sounds like we're just going on this epic journey with him into the person that he was or becomes. No clue, but I will get back to you on that once I start diving into this. But yeah, I'm just excited to just finally dive into this for myself for the first time and see what all the hype is about. See if it lives up to the hype. What if I don't even like this? Then we're gonna have another problem. So yeah, that is the plan for the weekend. I'm really looking forward to it. Let me know what you guys have been reading recently, how Tome Topple has been going for you, what you plan to kind of squeeze in before the readathon is over, and I will see you guys in the next video. Take care.